Napa know-how.
A Napa guy knows more isn't always better, unless we're talking about full-size vans. These beasts do more than get you from A to B. They have so much space a man can live in it. With shag carpeting, waterbed, and a sweet lava lamp, these mobile abodes have all the comforts of home. With quality parts and plenty of Napa know-how, you can keep the original tiny house running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Blog Talk Radio.
Now, what's that smell? Just like cornbread done too well. What you need, you know I got. The hands up, who wants to rock?
Good evening, Metal Faithful. It is your mandated reporter and frankly unmodified Mr. Mark Rattledge, and this is Ye Olde Metal Hammer of Doom. On the docket tonight is a little band that came together in 1988 to bring you some of the best death metal the world has ever seen. These fellas be Cannibal Corpse, and their new album, Red Before Black, came out on November 3rd of this year. We're going to talk about it tonight. But I am not alone. I am never alone. I've always got a posse behind me of people ready to talk your face off. In the first chair, he is the Metal Coop. He is the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper. How do you do, sir?
I just can't wait for the parody album, Bread Before Crack.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean we already have Cannabis Corpse.
We do. They also put out a new album this year, or are about to. And in the second chair tonight, ladies and gentlemen,
pass,
the third.
That's right.
Or the third chair, depending on your vantage point. He's the host of Source Material in his own right. He's the disapproving dad. And death metal is his favorite genre of metal. Everyone knows it. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who loves Cannibal Corpse. He's been following him since 1988. He just doesn't want to admit it. He's Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
10 years old, I said, Mom, here's what I want for my birthday. There's a new band coming. It's 1988. I'm getting my first Nintendo, and I want to play Super Mario Brothers by the sounds of the initial Cannibal Corpse album. That's my life. How did you know, Mark Rattledge?
Because I am a fucking genius. That's why.
Fucking genius. Unbelievable.
I am a fucking genius, baby.
Let me
tell
you a
tonight?
little something. I'm doing all right. I want to start this off because we always talk a little something about our kids every once in a while. And I'm just want to let you know, in my household, there has been this weird renaissance of Justin Bieber amongst my kids. How does that fucking happen? How does that happen? Like, all of a sudden, the Cure's playing shit from like 2012 or whatever. You know, when his first album dropped, and then now my 7-year-old son is like legitimately coming downstairs and cranking the radio up and watching all his YouTube videos. And I swear, if I have to hear "Baby, Baby, Baby" one more fucking time, I'll join Cannibal Corpse myself.
I don't know if you probably have too much neck for that.
let me tell you this. We, I was telling Rob before, I had my labs done today. I had my checkup at the Yale Cancer Hospital. And, at the moment I don't have cancer, so knock on wood there. But afterwards, my kids and my wife and I joined my brother-in-law, my nephew, and my mother-in-law for dinner. Nothing. It wasn't like celebratory. It was just nobody made anything, and it was late by the time we were done with my appointment. So we all went out and we had dinner at like a bar and grill. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have this one near you. What's it called? Old Glory or Glory Road or Glory Hole or I don't know.
Oh no! Boo! Eat at the Glory Hole.
Something like that.
Come on.
Glory hole.
All they
It's a
serve
real
is
surprise.
tube steak.
Oh, tube steak and
The
mayonnaise.
Glory Hole. CPI right there. Anywho, so they were playing at the Glory Hole. They were playing Call Me Maybe, and me and my daughter were rocking out to it. Sure.
Oh, nice.
Carly Rae Jepsen. We were at the table eating our meal from Glory Hole, and we were singing along
Bring the
to
kids. It's a family affair.
and we were singing along to Call Me Maybe. And my daughter
that's a
actually
classic.
belted out. She totally did a woo girl thing. She was like, "This is my song," and I'm like, "All right, that's enough of that."
A jam.
Do you know how often I have to hear that damn song?
Oh, does it play a lot
Oh,
of
is that-
speakers?
Is
At
that on
least
the
twice
news
a day.
at Lowe's?
It is. You know what? Right now, every 3 songs is a Christmas song. So it's like Taylor Swift, Christmas song. Repeat.
So Jesse, I just quick change of subject, but not really.
Yeah.
I am trying to extol the virtues of Ma Nucci to my wife. She doesn't understand.
Manucci. She don't take shit from
Ma
no one. You don't
Nucci,
want to get
baby.
you don't want your wife to take any lessons off Manucci. That's for dang sure, because your ass would be grass.
She did not understand my obsession with Ma Nucci. I was trying to tell her, but she wouldn't listen.
Great stuff. Cannot wait for that episode to drop on Monday. We're referencing source material, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome Back, Frank is going to be dropping Monday on the old network here, so keep an ear out. Manucci, you'll learn all about her.
How is the gag reel for this week?
I've got about another 20 minutes left, so I mean, here's the way I do it. I usually just take big old chunks of it out, throw it on an extra audio file, and then I kind of weed it out and try and weed it down. Well, right now I'm in like 8 minutes, so I've got a lot of like stupid, goofy ass shit I've got to go through and bring it on down. Then it'll probably be one. I could guarantee 1 solid minute of laughter. How's that?
All right. I'm very happy I can do that for you. That I feel like I've brought the funny to the Source Material Podcast. You're welcome.
Damn straight, man.
See, I just
right,
brought
but
the
this is-
technical difficulties.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. I'd love to find that 2.5-hour audio file that somehow disappeared.
That was a damn good podcast. That
It was,
got
too.
absolutely butchered by fucking. Don't worry, I've got plenty of other stories that we can do.
I look forward to it.
All right. Well, this isn't the Source Material Podcast or whatever Japanese horse shit podcast that Robert Cooper never does. This is the Metal House of Doom. And we're going to talk some Cannibal Corpse tonight. Robert Cooper, why don't you tell the people what you know about Cannibal Corpse?
I know that when I got into metal, I wasn't a really big fan of them. Corpse Grinder's kind of deep, gravelly vocals really threw me off. It wasn't quite as light and fluffy as Killswitch Engage. Well, as light and fluffy as Killswitch Engage gets. Yeah, it was a little heavier than what I was looking for. But as I've gotten older and just gotten more kind of into the more dark and sinister side of the death metal, I've really come to love Cannibal Corpse. They remind me of bands like AC/DC, Motorhead. No, not Overkill. Slayer. Yeah, Slayer. In that musically they're largely consistent. There's a consistency, but I do feel like unlike, for example, Slayer, that consistency doesn't come at the price of monotony. That's been a big problem with Slayer since fucking 1994, if you ask me. Cannibal Corpse it's one of those bands that I've come to appreciate them, and the more and more I listen to them, the more I like them. Like this album right now is running on a second spin through for me, and I'm just starting to catch more and more because musically they are damn talented. Lyrically they're interesting. I won't say they don't suffer from the one of my cardinal sins of music, which is repetition, which I don't mind repetition necessarily. It's just sometimes it gets to be a little much. I feel like with Cannibal Corpse, I come to expect it from them. That's just like it's a Cannibal Corpse-y thing. But yeah, it's. I mean, they have tons of music that are pretty much horror movies. Their album covers are infamous, grotesque, and I love them. Yeah, I mean, pretty much Corpse Grinder is an iconic Necklace Man. Yeah, I mean, I fucking love Cannibal Corpse, and they're going to be in Greensboro on my birthday, December 3rd. Aha, and hopefully, knock on wood, I will go see them.
Well, happy birthday to you, sir. All right, we're gonna play a game tonight, and that game is simply we're gonna bring up the Wikipedia page for the complete discography of Cannibal Corpse, and we just in between songs here, we need to talk about some of these album covers. Can we do that? Can Jesse Starcher, can you look at the album covers as we talk about these songs?
I'm always down to talk about an album cover. So yeah, I've got them. I'm ready to rock and roll and look at them along with you guys. See what the hell's going on. I can tell you right now, this one we're looking at for Red Before Black. Yeesh.
So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll start with Red Before Black and just work our way backwards. So yeah, this first one is actually one of the least offensive of the bunch. When you consider what some of these look like, but just we have a dude here. There's some blood everywhere.
He's got his white beater
like
on.
A hatchet. Yep, he's got a hatchet or a bat or some shit. Listen,
that looks like almost like a sword. I mean, I was like, oh, is that a knife? It's a long ass knife.
Yeah, it looks like he's beaten somebody to a bloody pulp here, this album cover. But, look, I have been following Cannibal Corpse for a very long time, and I have seen some shit on their album covers. This is tame by comparison. So let's get into it.
Oh, this is nothing.
Let's get into this.
Yeah,
this is a
guy
kid.
getting
This is practically a
stabbed
kid's
to death.
album.
I mean, pretty much this is like Destroyer level of tameness on the Cannibal Corpse scale.
Wait till we get to like the zombies eating each other out. That's fantastic. All right.
Or Tomb of the Mutilated.
Wow.
Yeah, Tomb of the Mutilated. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you haven't seen a lot of them? Oh, boy, oh,
This is
boy,
gonna be
oh,
fun,
boy,
yeah.
oh, boy.
All right, so we're gonna hear a song and then check out an album cover. That's how we're gonna do this podcast tonight. We always got a game here on the Metal Hammer of Doom. Won't you come play our game? This is track 1. Only one will die. Oh, Cannibal Corpse, you do love your blast beats. You know, it's a Cannibal Corpse song. I mean, you know, we have definitely talked this year about, some bands that, like we're waiting for the album to start. There's no waiting with this. Track 1, here we go, and they are off to the races. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, Robert Cooper?
Oh, yeah, they're pretty much just put on their rocket boots and straight up zoom along with this first track. I mean, it's really what I've come to expect. I don't expect fucking like Ackercock's last album from Cannibal Corpse. No. If I heard that from Cannibal Corpse, I'd be really grumpy, actually. Like, I'd be kind of disappointed. I know Napalm Death did something kind of similar where they went a little more experimental towards the end of the 90s, and I felt like it was a bit of a disappointment compared to just, what the output I've come to expect. And, I mean, this is a really fucking awesome, just, like, catchy song. It's something like that could open the show. I'm cool. Like, yeah, I can totally deal with that opening a Cannibal Corpse show.
You're looking for brutality when it comes to Cannibal Corpse, and they bring it in spades. Jesse Starcher, I know, I was joking around before, but I know you're not really a fan of the Cookie Monster vocals. You're not really a fan of the death metal per se. Can you take this? Can you tolerate it? Are you all right with it?
Yeah, I had the opportunity at work today to put this on, and I'm really sad because I didn't have a chance to go through it again. It wasn't something that completely annoyed me. It was fast paced enough to where I was. It was fast paced and brutal enough to where I was like, okay, I can kind of dig it. I really hate being on the back end of things and not knowing much of what came before this. I mean, my gosh, they've got a catalog here. But I kind of got the temperature of how this album is being received right now. One of the guys I checked out was on metalsucks.net, and he called out 2 songs on this album for being what he called boring as fuck, and Only One Will Die was one of them. I was really surprised, but I think what he was trying to get across is that this is par for the course for Cannibal Corpse. Like, it was just like you said, a Cannibal Corpse song. You're not getting anything brand new. You're not getting anything revolutionary for this band. So I don't know if you guys please do me a favor and call out anything that you hear on this album if it sounds different than what's come before. I didn't really get much of a vibe from some of the reviews I've read that it seems like there was a whole lot, but you guys would know better than me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, I enjoyed this first track, brutality in its finest.
Here's Cannibal Corpse's big sin. They are the very definition of samey.
Okay.
I mean, but for me, I still really, really like it. There's an intensity, there's a brutality, there's I like the speed of it. I can tolerate the sameness. It'll be interesting to see if we can pick out one standout track here. I think that's the game. But before we go forward into track 2, let's take a look at this A Skeletal Domain from 2014. Now, if you didn't know this was a Cannibal Corpse album cover, you might think this is any death metal band. This is not typical of Cannibal Corpse. Okay?
What?
I mean, yeah, it's got skeletons and stuff on it. But it just kind of looks like your typical death metal horror band fare. I don't see anything. This is not the Cannibal Corpse that I knew in the 90s.
This appears to be like, well, I don't know. I want to compare it to like Lord of the Rings shit or something. You got like the big old tower of what the hell ever over there. It looks like a tree that's bleeding magma, and a bunch of skeletons walking. I am going to do this right now.
Giant magma turd.
No, we need a zombie chick. We need a zombie chick bleeding magma from her decayed vagina, dripping magma from a decayed vagina. That's what we need.
I am looking right now and just to see what we got. I just typed in Cannibal Corpse art, just see if we could credit this to anybody. Well, I was just curious as to who the man behind this is. And I don't know. I think this is referencing a comic because I don't think this is the band. I'm gonna have to look into this. You guys go ahead and continue to talk because you guys ever heard the word the word? You guys heard of the name Vince Locke at all? Okay. All right. Go ahead and continue to talk about the.
I've barely heard of Brian Michael Bendis. We all know that. All right, let's go ahead and play the title track here from this latest Cannibal Corpse album. This is Red Before Black. I'll give it to Cannibal Corpse, at least on this album. At least some of what's being said in these songs is intelligible. Because I have heard some Cannibal Corpse that's just, and that's a whole sentence. Those were words.
Like, it was okay. You sure this wasn't clips from Cujo?
No. And like, all right. Apparently those were lyrics. This I could actually make out him saying Red Before Black. So, it's a good track. I like it. Rob?
I thought it was a good track. There's a whole lot of Red Before Black yelled like over and over and over. But I mean, I guess you're being stabbed to death, so of course that's all you really see. Yeah. Or here is just the dying and the death and the stuff. At least it didn't sound like a clogged up garbage disposal.
I thought he was doing a Bill Cosby there for a second.
That's what I was going for with the kids and the pudding. Take the drink.
Oh no, not the pudding.
I had a coworker. He's like, hey, he was like, hey, look. He's like, hey, look, I found the fastest knockout in the MMA history. I'm like, was Bill Cosby involved? He was like, God damn.
Boo. All right, Jesse. What's on your mind besides your hat?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I have seen, Mark Radulich. One of the things that you see through these guys are death metal, okay? And when you look at the lyrics, they are. When you look at the lyrics, though, I mean, you can almost say that it's death metal in its truest form because almost every single song is dealing with somebody getting killed or two people about to kill each other, somebody getting an axe to the face, somebody getting their skin removed. I mean, it's almost borderline like torture porn music.
There's no borderline about it, sir.
It is right there, smack dab capital of the city.
Yeah. So let's talk about Torture, speaking of which.
Yeah.
This came out in, I believe it was 2012 is what I read. Yeah, 2012.
It was.
And now we're talking. This is the Cannibal Corpse that I grew up with. We've got skeletons. We've got dead bodies. One of them looks like they're pregnant. They're hanging. They're strewn about. Their guts are falling out. Not the goriest Cannibal Corpse album I've ever seen, but, you know.
You're probably
this looks like,
not. I was going to say you're probably not going to choose this as your background at work. That's for sure.
No.
For your desktop.
No.
I mean,
but I mean, this.
Actually, it was shipped with a sleeve over it, to where you get your murderer guy, but then when you pull the sleeve back, it's like, oh, he's hanging bodies.
Look at that. And he performed a C-section on the pregnant lady. Oh my gosh, that's pretty bad. He performed a C-section on the lady and then put it apparently back into the woman because she's still pregnant. There's a lot of stuff to unpack on this. Yeah, I guess so. Oh man, this is bad news.
That's one way to do it.
You look at him too. The killer guy himself actually has a vivisection going on there, or whatever that is, where they after they do the autopsy, or when they do the autopsy, where they crack your chest open. Whew. Well, are we? This is escalating.
I never actually looked into that.
This is
because I remember. Because it's funny, I remember Skeletal Domain, we reviewed that, and I know I covered Torture when I used to write my column. Torture was a really good album. I actually owned that one. Which, did you know that every Cannibal Corpse album has had the same artist?
They did?
Oh, yeah?
It's got to be that
named
Vincent Locke guy.
Yeah.
He's had his hand in comics, too.
He's really good at zombies and dead things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so far, going backwards in time here, that's been the most graphic one yet.
Oh, well.
But boy, does this get worse as it goes on. So let's get to it. This is track 3, speaking of torture. This is Code of the Slashers.
Primitive life on the throne, no chance to run.
All right, well, that started off a little slow, but then it picked up the pace. Not bad. Not my favorite on here, but it was okay. What'd you think there, Jesse?
Did you say you've been to one of their concerts before?
Yeah, years ago.
Was it like the most violent thing you've ever seen? Because that is what I have in my mind's eye. It's like, if you go to one of these concerts,
I don't know.
You better be glad you got out alive.
No, I fucking
What are you,
got
my mother?
I got punched in the eye at fucking Helmet. You know, I went to like a hardcore show with the P-Whack. And I saw Trip Face and someone, you know, and Rick from 25 to Life fucking mule kicked me in the head.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah, knocked me fuck out.
You easily survived Cannibal Corpse then.
Yeah, Cannibal Corpse was a breeze compared to some of these other shows I've been to. I got nearly buried alive at the first Pantera show I ever went to, where, you know, like I tried to get it up to the front of the stage, and that was a mistake. I got, you know, at the I have been to some arena shows where think about like a basketball or a hockey arena. So the entire floor was one giant mosh pit. It was like being in the middle of a Braveheart battle. Like, I remember, separately from that, I remember seeing Slayer at Irving Plaza, and I was just swinging at anything that came within 5 feet of me. And I remember, like, I wasn't moshing anymore. I was in a Western barroom brawl. And I remember one guy who's like a buddy of mine that I would see at shows, like, grabbed me by my shoulder. He was like, "You can stop now. It's over." Like, I was blinded.
You're like, they were coming out of the trees, man.
Yeah, I was like, I had PTSD from that. I was like, oh God, they're everywhere. I remember I was skanking in the mosh pit, you know, just a skanking and a grooving, and like I kicked my feet up, and somebody hit me, and I just I fell, but like in the weirdest way, like a cartoon character. You know, like my legs, I went completely horizontal, and then fell straight down. I might have held up a sign before I fell that said "Yipe."
It sounds like you went down like a Punch-Out character.
Yeah,
this is something like that. Yeah, my feet went completely out from under me, and I just fucking fell like a tree. I've had, not at a concert, but at a club where a mosh pit broke out. I had a guy swung into my knee and like dislocated my kneecap. And I went to work the next day on that shit. I just fucking had to drive like sideways. I was like my leg like hanging out of the car. Like, I can do this. I did not get injured. I was not injured at the Cannibal Corpse show, so no, it's not the most brutal. It's not the most brutal pit I've ever been in.
Yeah,
Slayer typically brings. I was gonna say Slayer typically brings it out of people.
Okay.
You know, and I've been to some shows that just had a large meathead contingent, and just whenever you have, and it could be Britney Spears for all they care, but when the meatheads show up with their football jerseys on and their white hats backwards, some shit's about to go down, and it really doesn't matter how brutal.
Fucking Slayer, yeah, fucking Slayer, man.
5-finger death punch, man. I don't know why I'm making fun of that. I love 5-finger death.
Like, I still love that. It was Suicidal Tendencies and Slayer, and like, yeah, my buddy was like, "Oh, it's a bunch of white trash and cholos." Because apparently everybody loves Suicidal Tendencies is that stereotype.
Everybody showed up looking like Conan.
Yeah, pretty much.
They all showed up with their flannel shirts on, buttoned at the top, and only at the top.
Yeah,
I know what time it is.
He's like, wow.
You ever see that, Jesse, in the mean streets of Ohio? Just everybody looking like Conan from WCW in the 90s?
West side of Marietta. Stay away from over there.
No.
Probably run into quite a few of them characters.
All right.
Those
now you can roll.
people.
Now you can roll up on them, Jesse, and be like, "I know what time it is. Viva la raza!"
Odele, Odele.
Latino meat.
Oh my goodness. Well, the only reason I ask is just because I'm curious as if there was a relation from the lyrics themselves, as violent as they are, compared to some of the fans and insanity that I figured would go on at those concerts. Because this song right here.
Have you ever heard Cattle Decapitation? Because
Yeah.
I have.
I was going to say, you probably have played one song on here, because that band sounds awful familiar.
I know we talked about it one night. We were just having one of those conversations about like bizarre band names, and I've brought up Cattle Decapitation before, and I'm pretty sure I saw them. I saw another band that was very similar to that, and Goat Whore, all at BB King's Blues Bar. Go fig. In New York City. Goat Whore, not to be confused with Goat Penis. Ever heard of them, Robert Cooper? Is there really a Goat Moon? We need to put together a playlist.
They're Nazi satanic black metal.
That's right. Yes.
Someone get Ronnie Adams on the phone. We need to tell him about Goat Moon.
Oh, and I found in my CD collection I have a band called Goat Snake. Whatever that means.
Excellent. Can we please put together a playlist of only bands with the word goat in their title and send it to Ronnie Adams? Tag him on every social media site there is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never heard this podcast before, you've never heard the Source Material podcast or the Screaming Boy podcast, our friend Ronnie Adams loves the goat penis, okay? Just loves it.
Wait a minute. That is not a sentence you want to say out loud.
All goat penis all the time.
All the time.
Please tag him on Twitter. What's he on Twitter? What's his handle?
If he was a good guy and would play along, we should make him a playlist and tell him to pick his top 5 and just see which goats make it out of there alive. Goat Whore top in the top 3. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Goat.
We should invite him on the Metal Hammer of Doom and just dedicate an entire show to goat bands.
We'll just call it Ronnie's Goat, greatest of all time goat band songs. I mean, it's easy. Real simple. Writes itself.
Metal Hammer of Doom. Ronnie loves the goat. Anywho. So can we talk about Evisceration Plague for just a moment?
Oh, let's do it.
I fucking love that album.
This album came out in 2009. And this album cover leaves a lot to be desired. This is just more. We've got more zombies. We've got some evil-looking characters. One's brandishing a knife, and this is right before they dismember you. But there's nothing really. I mean, it looks like a horror movie poster, but there's not much else going on here. This could be a promo for The Walking Fucking Dead.
That's what I was going to say. That's what it reminds me of.
This is not the Cannibal Corpse that I've come to know and love, ladies and gentlemen. This album lacks imagination.
This isn't my Cannibal Corpse. Make Cannibal Corpse great again.
That's right, God damn it. Oh my God. The next one's even, I mean, I can't even, I'm not even going to wait to talk about this. I'm going to talk about it right now. This next one, Kill, is even worse. It just says Kill.
Wow.
It just says Kill in big letters.
Yeah, it was just okay for those of you who can't read very well. If you've got some, if you've got some bad eyesight, just fucking Kill. Terrific.
Killed it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah, I mean, fucking Evisceration Plague. That title track is probably one of my favorite Cannibal Corpse songs ever, just because I love the beat to it. Like, the guitar work is so fucking catchy. It's a slow Cannibal Corpse song, and it's a fucking slow headbanger. I love it. As for Kill, I never listened to Kill. That's a really, unspectacular album cover. So I really did like the song that we played.
All right, let's...
Slashers. I enjoyed that.
Okay. You would. That had a very doomy beginning to it. Before we move forward, let's talk about an album cover that's got tons of imagination to it. Let's talk about the Wretched. Let's talk about the Wretched Spawn. Ooh, doggy. Jesse, look at the Wretched Spawn.
I'm pulling it up right now. Oh my gosh.
I just need your reaction, sir.
Wow. Okay, let me enlarge and biggen. Let me embiggen this, and that way, that way we can kind of. There you go. That's better. What in the hell is going on? Is his hand going into her mouth? And then
I just thought she just had him coming out of her mouth too.
Okay, so something else is coming out of her mouth.
Yeah,
okay.
She is birthing several terrible creatures. One out of her mouth, one from her womb, and one right out of the old vagina. Right out of the old dripping vagina.
Out of the old cooter.
There is only one orifice that is not being violated here.
And we just can't
we
see
don't
that
know
orifice.
that for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow, there is this dude.
So this is some sort of like
stuff.
OB. This is some sort of OB doctor's office in hell, is what's happening here, and the wretched spawn. You know, this depicts what this album is all about.
We got, crazy Birdman doctor back there, and then we have these guys over here with the forceps that have spikes on the end of them. That's nice. That's wonderful.
Make sure you get them in there. All nice and good like.
Dig them in there. Get a hold of it. They're not even helping her out anyway. They're hanging there from his side. Like, okay, you didn't even use them, dude. Obviously, these things are doing the work for him anyway. Ugh, that is some very graphic stuff. Good golly, Ronnie Adams probably has 3 copies of this.
Can we get Mindy to come on here, Mrs. Starcher, to tell us if this is what her birthing experience was like?
Oh.
If, is this what it felt like? Is this an accurate depiction of childbirth? I'm just wondering.
Unfortunately, she is in bed right now, and if I bother her on a Wednesday night, she's going to wonder where I'm at. All right, I just rather leave her alone and let her think I'm off watching TV or something, not doing a podcast like usual.
Yeah, you mean you do a podcast on Wednesdays?
Where in the world is Jesse Starcher? Where in the world?
Well, yeah, we got to change it now.
All right, this is track 4. This is shedding. Oh, for fuck's sake! Shedding my human skin. That was shedding my human skin, all right. It's fine. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Rob?
I'm a snake. Snake. That was my reaction to it.
Terrific. Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's pounding you in the face yet again with some crazy. I'm looking at the lyrics here just to try and figure out what in the world's going on, and I will spare you my interpretation because I don't know what the hell is happening. It just.
Can you share with us some of these lyrics?
All right, Coop. Here you go, buddy. You tell me what's going on here. You do your best to try and devise what maybe this song's about. Clearly, it's called "Shedding My Human Skin." Some of the most repeated stanzas or verses here: human in form, but not of this earth. Species reborn. Blood uniform is worn in disgust. Will violently be shredded and torn. And that's repeated like 4 times. So, is it? Are we dealing with a symbiote here? Or are we dealing with a parasite, face hugger? What's going on?
Let's see. I'm wondering. Let's see.
Ooh, the last
through the blood,
last verse might
self-carving,
actually
eruption from within. Sounds like you're just carving your face off, like your entire body, just carving it off.
Like
the last verse kind of sheds a little bit of light on it. Demonic invasion of a dominant hierarchy. So maybe he's getting possessed and doesn't like the body he's in. How's that?
Or I'm just wondering if maybe the demonic invasion of the dominant hierarchy is him just murdering the fucking of everybody.
Don't you just hate that when you're a demon and you possess somebody and you're just like, oh, I possessed the wrong body. This is terrible.
Happens to me every Saturday.
There's some sort of demonic possession happening. And just like, oh, I've made a terrible decision here.
That's why I identify with Cannibal Corpse so well.
Sure. This really speaks to the human experience.
I relate to it.
Absolutely. No, I can't tell you how many of my experiences have related to savage butchery, hatchet to the head, pit of zombies, dormant bodies bursting, compelled to lacerate. I can't tell you how many times I've been drowning in viscera, hung in blood, sanded faceless. I did that last weekend. Mutation of the cadaver. We see those.
Are you reading song titles?
I am. Those all come from the 2002 release, Gore Obsessed. Jesse Starcher, can you please react to this album cover, please? Gore Obsessed.
Oh my goodness! What? No. Okay. Are they on the moon? I don't know what's going on here. It looks. Got the
we
black.
landed on the moon.
We've landed on the moon. We got zombies coming up, or at least hands coming up from the ground. These zombies here. You got hands coming up from the ground. Of course, there's some boobies, it looks like, in the background. Not just live boobies, though. Those are some dead boobies.
Yeah.
And
they're really... If there's one thing Cannibal Corpse is really into in their artwork, it's zombie tits.
Yes. Man, there is some nastiness going on. The unfortunate soul that fell upon the ground, obviously he was tripped by these hands, fell down, and then the zombies... What does the zombie have in his hand? Is that a stomach? Is that a liver? He has something, or is it a rock? It could very well be a rock.
I just love the cloak made of human faces.
Oh, dude, I just saw that. I was like, that's a crazy-looking cape. Whoa, wait a second. And they almost look like they're thigh deep into something. I don't know if they're coming out of the ground, but they're like, the guy's laying on top of the ground, and he's got all those hands clawing into him. But then we got, stomach eater guy or whatever coming at him. But they're like thigh deep into the ground, or maybe they just don't have legs past the kneecap or something. I ain't got my legs.
Lieutenant Dan, what happened to your legs?
That's a crazy
maybe
looking
they need ice cream.
Now we're really getting into like the fun Cannibal Corpse, okay? The early fun stuff with the terrible, terrible artwork.
I am
but,
on
but terrible in a good way.
I'm on vincelock.com right now, okay? And there's a special going on right now. There are some prints in the store. If you want to buy some prints for like $50 or $60 of these covers, you can.
And
high
scare
glossy
the fuck
paper,
out of your children.
autographed by the artist himself, eaten back to life. Which
Sure.
apparently we're gonna talk about that one here in a few, aren't we?
Yeah. Eaten back to life is the best. Between that one and Tomb of the Mutilated, woo, doggy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
We needed Ronnie Adams on this show. I need him to react. We should do.
Every album would be no.
Why do
Dear
you hate
Lord,
me?
Mark.
No.
I could hear him going, "Dear Lord," like 20 times.
Yeah, he would leave this podcast and find like a midnight mass or some shit because he'd have to take himself to church.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I'm not Catholic, but please, I need it.
And Ronnie Adams, take me to church. All right. Poor guy. This is track 5. This is Remaimed. All right. Robert Cooper, what do you think of the Remaimed?
It's interesting. I'm assuming what we're doing is that we're, I guess we're just cutting off the prosthetics. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're just going for a few other body parts. I don't know. At least it's not like one of my coworkers who's like, look, this is what the Mexican mob does to people. Proceeds to show everybody like a video of a guy getting his head cut off with a machete, sawed off with a machete. And I'm like,
jeez,
why do you have this? And why are you showing this to people at work? You're like a 45-year-old man. It's pretty graphic, too. One of my coworkers couldn't stand it. And I was just sitting there being like, woo, that's a rough way to go.
Okay,
that guy is
so
like
remember
going
when...
to be... Go ahead.
So remember when 2 Girls, 1 Cup was the thing?
Ugh.
I still can't handle that. I can't do poop. Poop is like, ugh. I can do decapitations. I just can't do poop.
Yeah, no, poop is a whole other level of gross. But everybody poops. But do we really need to be pooping into each other's mouths? I don't think so. In any case, are you still with us, Jesse?
Ugh.
All right. So, I wrote a column for 411 Mania's politics page, and I thought it was a really interesting, thought-provoking political piece. I thought it was engaging, and somebody made the point of commenting that my article reminded him of Two Guys, One Hammer, I guess is what it's called, which was
not the hammer.
Robert Cooper, do you remember this? Do you remember the Two Dudes, One Hammer?
Was it smashing a guy's balls with a hammer?
Something like that. I never watched the video, but I had read about what he was referencing, and it came out shortly after the whole Two Girls, One Cup cultural nonsense fiasco. But yeah, it's like basically it's like two guys working over somebody with a fucking hammer. And it was around then that I decided that maybe I shouldn't be writing for 411 anymore. If I write, if I'm writing relatively, thought-provoking pieces, and the response is, hey, have you seen this video where two guys work over some fucking homeless man with a hammer? Maybe this isn't the audience I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
Oh, good old 411 politics. Remember that? Remember how much fun that is? Like, I would always go there just to watch the fucking shit flinging.
Yeah, that was a shit show if there ever was one. All right, so speaking of shit shows, let's talk about this Bloodthirst that came out in 1999 by Cannibal Corpse. Jesse Starcher, please react.
Oh, boy. All right, let's take a look here. I'm bringing up the images. Okay. Now, I have two covers that have popped up. Now, this might be because apparently there have been some censored covers as well, so I'm going to go with the beast-looking dude here that has...
the guy from the thing, pretty much?
Yeah. I mean, he's got, like, insect legs, and he has, I think, 4 arms. One of which is grotesquely muscular, the other of which is like rail thin,
just like Trogdor.
And then I think he has wings on his back, and above the wings are a couple of other tiny little arms. Like, I don't know. Oh, wait a second. These are like 3 or 4 people put together, or something here. Yeah, just like Coop said, it's like the thing. It's like Thing, not Marvel's Thing. No, this is John Carpenter's Thing. And the 2 tiny little arms are holding up a head. This thing has clearly escaped from something, like from Area 51 or whatever, because we have some danger stuff going on in the background there, or some kind of attention markings on the wall. And then we got our headless guy here on the bottom who has. I don't know what in the world. Force. I mean, and it looks like part of this crazy alien-looking thing's intestines are also attached to a fish that is dead on the floor. I don't know, or maybe that's some type of an organ. Why? I want to know what goes into this. Where does one person say? Oh, by the way, there are a pair of alien breasts, dead breasts on this thing. By the way, we got wings, 4 arms, and 2 tiny titties. Go ahead.
We need Jesse to just. We need an entire show of Jesse reacts to album covers. This is fantastic.
We should call it the art cover, the art gallery of doom.
This would be, this right here would demand this doom. Yes, I would say that. Looking at this, you would be if this was something in real life. Oh my gosh.
I'm gone.
I suffer to think of what is going through the guy's head. If somebody's saying, okay, hey, I want you to do this, or if this is just, hey, listen to our music, interpret it how you like, and do a cover for our album. Ugh. I don't know what the hell was on this album.
You know what it reminds me of, actually? Jeff Goldblum's The Fly.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's like this head that's attached to his shoulder, and It's almost how do you put this in front of somebody and say, hey, do me a favor in an audio format, explain what's going on so everybody understands what you're seeing.
How about
Here we
the
go.
opposite of
This
it? Like,
is
hey,
Jack Cotton.
here's our record. What does this inspire you to draw? Well,
Well, I mean, one of the songs is called "Sickening Metamorphosis."
Okay, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who and raped by the beast. Or
All
coffin season.
right. Terrific. This is track 6. This is Firestorm Vengeance. Firestorm Vengeance. I can see someone skanking in the pit to that, doing a little pickup change, windmill here or there. I can see someone getting down, getting funky to that one. What do you think, Jesse?
That's some good stuff. I think that's probably one of my, I'd say, top half off this album songs. That was, again, we got many people are dying from some form of some form of horrible death. This one by fire. That sounds like hell on earth here. But
this
yeah,
just in. Many people are dying.
and we're only halfway through the album. I can't wait till they start. Let's see this album turn around. At the end, is everybody going to be okay? Are we going to have a happily ever after? My bet is there's not going to be one.
Cannibal Corpse, track 13, Rainbows and Kittens.
Track 14, everyone is okay. It was just a dream.
Cannibal Corpse, track 15, a cover of Barney. I love you, you love me.
Oh my gosh. Dude, they've probably done some silly covers just because of how incredibly violent they are. If they've got something like that out there on the internet, I would love to hear that tonight. My goodness.
I would really love to see them cover The Future So Bright I Have to Wear Shades.
Oh.
So many people are like, yeah, it's a happy song. I'm like, God, it's about nuclear war. Damn plebeians.
I'm looking to see what covers they got.
Yeah,
well,
I'm wanted already.
Forced by Metallica.
So immediately what comes up is the 10 bloodiest metal album covers. All right?
We've got to word this a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Let's see here. 3 or 4 down here. I don't know if they've cover versions by Cannibal Corpse.
Cover songs. Cannibal Corpse
Okay.
cover songs.
There we go.
Okay, here we go. Who sampled? Let's see. So these are people who cover Cannibal Corpse. Not what we're looking for.
Not what we're looking for. Kind of looking for the exact opposite of that.
Songs covered by Cannibal Corpse. Let's see. Songs covered by Tom Petty. No. Cannibal Corpse.
Okay,
There we go.
Oh, my connection's not secure. Okay, well, I will be going back. Thank you.
Cover versions by Cannibal Corpse. Here we go. Cannibal Corpse covered No Remorse by Metallica, which I've actually heard. The Exorcist by Possessed, which I've heard. And Zero the Hero by Black Sabbath.
Okay. I think we may have played No Remorse on here, or somebody may have shared it at one point.
No Remorse made it onto one of the cover shows.
Okay, all right, because I can hear this vocalist doing that in my head right now. Well, so they've only got 3 out there, none of which are happy-go-lucky covers. So he isn't covering Kokomo. So that'd be awesome. Cannibal Corpse does the Beach Boys.
Lots
Just
of
a whole
people have
album.
covered stripped. Lots of people have covered Stripped, Raped, and Strangled. Interestingly enough.
I mean, it's an
right.
anthem for the kids.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favorite Cannibal Corpse songs, no doubt. Alrighty, let's talk about Jesse. Let's talk about Gallery of Suicide.
Oh boy,
the 1998
okay.
release from Cannibal Corpse.
Now let me look here, because usually on they will have a censored cover if there was one on the Wikipedia. It does not look like it. So this one made it past the censors. Is there boobies involved? First off, that's checkbox number 1. Boobies are involved, ladies and gentlemen. Albeit you have to look, but you can see they are there. And she is disemboweling herself. Okay,
like you do.
Yeah, and again, another one of those 2:00 p.m. What's on my agenda? Disemboweling myself. All right. 3:00, hang the corpse from the ceiling by a noose. Then we got this guy over here on the. He's on. Okay, let's look at the guy on the left who looks like a guy from like a hitman or something. He's
blowing his brains out.
Yes. He's not had a good day at the office. And then on the right-hand side here, we have Piggy Pfeiffer, who has maybe slit her own throat. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. And then we have... So people are walking in here and killing themselves, because in the background, you see people who are still alive walking into the gallery. This is like an art gallery, I assume. Hence the title, Gallery of Suicide. Coop, man, there's some crazy stuff on here. I can't believe you listen to this stuff.
Yeah, just don't tell my mother. Remember that time I told her I listened to a band called Death and she freaked out? I'm like, Let me tell you about Impaled Nazarene.
I'm
sorry, Mom.
We'll go for that. That's cool.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
I just
let's
love
go
that
ahead.
the album, the song title of this song is just like, yeah, people are going to get immolated. That's going to be a thing. Good luck. And it's not about the comic book character. That's what I'm surprised about, And when you got Firestorm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, DC's Firestorm.
Yeah, the Nuclear Man.
Particle Man.
All right,
don't get Mark started.
No, I'm not singing tonight. All right. This, of course, is something we can all relate to. This is Heads Shoveled Off. Only the epic road, the streets of mother Heads shoveled off, Robert Cooper. What do you think?
Who else know? Like, does he know that Head's gone? I mean, they shoveled her off, man.
Shoveled off this mortal coil.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's a pretty awesome song though. But I don't know. As soon as you like Head shoveled off, I'm like, ah, shit. There went all those styrofoam heads. Thanks, Paul. You pretty much killed the ecosystem for the next 20 years. All because somebody wanted Head.
Boom. All right. All right, let me go. Head shoveled off. I mean, continuing the violence that this album is, it's just painting a wonderful scene as they usually do. One of the neat things that I've noticed throughout each song is it's a very visceral, in the moment type of a song. Like they're describing some absolute insanity that's happening in front of you. So, and I like the beginning of this song, and this might have been another one of those ones. I only had the chance to spin through this album once, so I can't remember every great song off there, and didn't have a chance to make any notes like a good podcaster should. But I think this is one of the ones that fell on the top for me as well off of here, that I was like, I don't mind. And we talk about how I don't like the Cookie Monster vocals, and one of the points that you made earlier is that you can hear and understand what he's saying. And I think that might be why I am not so quick to dismiss this. I can understand what he's trying to say. It's not completely and utterly one long-ass growl with a couple grunts in between. It's something that I can understand and enjoy. So I'm down with it. I don't mind it. We'll just put it that way. Now, can we talk about Vile? Because I want to talk about it real quick. Okay?
Please, but
already...
take the bull by the horn, sir.
I've already looked at this. I've analyzed this album cover. Okay? Now, again, Wikipedia does the great distinction and shows you the regular album cover versus if it was censored and what the censored one looks like. Okay, now the censored one is a close-up of this guy's face that's on this album cover, and his face is being, his cheeks are being pulled apart into this crazy-ass, horrifying grin by barbed wire. His eyes are being held open by some, like, barbed wire as well. But let's talk about the cover, the uncensored cover, okay? Now, at first I was like, what is so bad about this cover? It's this half of a guy. He's just kind of sitting there. His arms are wrapped in barbed wire. His I already described his face. Again, we got the vivisection or whatever that happens during an autopsy where they crack your chest open, but it's only half a body. And so I'm looking down there. I'm like, oh, it's the maggots. That's what it is. They must have found that too grotesque. And then I happened along there in the center of the album, right where his waist was at one point. There's something there that kind of caught my eye, and I was like, what in the world is that? Is that like some kind of a pipe or something? No, that's this man's mummified junk. Right there, smack dab.
I never noticed the mummified junk.
That's his dick, dude.
Yeah.
That's his dick and his cock and balls.
He's right. That's his twigs and berries right there.
There you go. Hence why that album cover was censored.
Wow, good pickup. I've never known in all the years. And I had a copy of Vile. That might have been when I actually saw them live, was on that tour, and I never noticed that before. Fantastic.
Well, you'll never unsee it. That's for damn sure from here on out. That'll be the first thing your eyes go to if you ever see that album cover again.
Hey, look, it's a mummified dick. All right. Let's move on here.
At
This
least
is
they kept it
Corpus.
his dick for the afterlife.
Indeed.
Yeah, true.
Who doesn't want their dick in heaven? All right, Corpus Delicti. Here we go, track 8. We don't often get to hear solos on here because I got to cut the song off usually before they can play. That one we got to hear. Robert, as far as solos go, what did you think of that one?
I fucking love Cannibal Corpse's solos. There's a certain point where it's like, yeah, wheedly, 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 wheedly. But they're fucking good guitars, especially when you consider that a lot of their guitar work isn't nearly as technical as the solos are, which I feel like is more of a mood thing. I feel like it's a lot more intimidating when it's less flashy.
Jesse, what did you think of Corpus Delicti?
Yeah, it was all right. I like what Coop's saying there about how that isn't something that they focus on a whole lot, just because they want that, that insanity of their music to speak first instead of like, hey, check this out, here we go, he's going to cut a solo. No, your job is to pay attention to the guy that got his finger cut off and shoved up his ass, or the guy lost his eyeball, and that's they want the, again, we use the word brutality a lot tonight. They want the brutality of their music to be the first thing that hits you. So, but they do pepper them throughout this album. There's solos every once in a while that, it sounds great.
All right. This might be my favorite track on the entire album. This is Scavenger Consuming... Well, hang on. I skipped something. Jesse, The Bleeding. What's our thoughts here?
Well, it's pretty tame, and the uncensored cover doesn't really... it certainly doesn't smack of mummified penis or anything. I don't know what's so bad about The Bleeding. I don't know what's so bad about it. It looks like a bunch of... you could say all these people are naked, but it's not completely easy to see the details of everything here. But it looks like there's something like roots from the ground or some kind. Maybe they're all one person. I don't know. Like they're kind of getting into the. Maybe think of like the Matrix. The Matrix was feeding off of people. Maybe that's what they're going for here, where there's just like something or other sucking the blood out of these unfortunate souls who they're not looking too healthy, that's for sure, and they're all just kind of jammed together. We got there's at least close to 15 to 20 people in the front of this, including a little baby. So maybe that was it, but I don't know. Coop, was you about to say something?
Oh no, actually, something I find really interesting is that as I'm looking through it, it took me a long time to find the more gory album cover. I'm wanting to say the original releases, or perhaps I'm off, and this is when I see more. It's just that one that just looks like a bunch of blood, almost like a fucking scientific photograph or something of a blood vessel. At least it's not like Carcass, who had like a reek of putrefaction, and I forget the second album, but it was a bunch of disgusting, grotesque, and fucking vomit-inducing medical photos that they made a collage out of.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yuck. All right, this is track 9. This is Scavenger Consuming Death. Oh shit! What a breakdown! All right, I like that one. I like the groovy death metal. You know, death and groove. That's what I dig. You know, when it's all blast beats, it gets kind of, it starts to give me a headache after a while. I like when, death metal gets that groove to it, and it keeps with the brutal vocalizations. That's when I think death metal, when the twains meet on death metal, to really give it, a real nice sound. What do you think of Scavenger Consuming Death, Rob?
I love it. It actually reminds me a lot of Evisceration Plague in some ways, not with kind of the slow, ominous march of it, but with the almost like it matches to me the verses in a way. It's got almost like that swing to it, and I really like it.
Jesse?
Hey, I think I like the way you put it, where when they give you a chance to slow it down a little bit, and not always fast-paced, just unrelenting, and they groove it out a little bit. It's just like, man, if you're going to run a marathon, you've got to pace yourself. Or if you run, full bore for quite a while without taking a bit of a breather or slowing it down, you're going to wear yourself out and possibly your audience. And it just gets old after a while. So I agree. It's nice to hear that little bit of a change up every once in a while. So as for this particular song, I'm not the hugest fan of it. It sounds like, just looking at the lyrics, though, it looks pretty damn interesting. Hey, guess what? It's about, I assume, zombies or somebody coming and eating people.
All right. Well, as far as album covers go, 1992 is really the high watermark of Cannibal Corpse. I don't think it gets any better than the Doom of the Mutilated. Can we, before I have Jesse react to the cover of this masterpiece, this Van Gogh of death metal albums, can we talk about? Can we talk about some of these song titles? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with Cannibal Corpse and you're just tuning in because every week you listen to the Metal Hammer of Doom and see what sort of nonsense we've gotten ourselves into this week, if you haven't checked out Cannibal Corpse's Tomb of the Mutilated, boy, are you missing out. So you need to listen to Hammer Smashed Face. That's a fantastic song. when you're done with this podcast, go listen. Go get on your Spotify, get on your Pandora, get on your YouTube, and throw Hammer Smash Face into the machine, and have yourself a grand old time. Play it for the children; they'll love it. Track 2, I Come Blood, and who hasn't really?
I'd go to the doctor
Track
for that.
3.
I'm just saying.
Track 3, Addicted to Vaginal Skin, and again, who wouldn't be?
Wow.
4, Split Wide Open. 5, Necropedophile. Let's move on. Track 6, The Cryptic Stench. 7, Entrails Ripped from a Virgin's Cunt. Someone call Ronnie Adams and tell him about that one. He needs to listen. Ronnie Adams.
Track 7.
If you're out there, Track 7, Entrails Ripped from a Virgin's Cunt. You'll love it. Track 8, Post-Mortal Ejaculation. And who hasn't, again, done something similar?
Gosh.
And Track 9, a very timid-sounding song, Beyond the Cemetery. Isn't this fantastic, folks? I love Cannibal Corpse.
Absolutely fantastic.
Cannibal Corpse. It's for the children, really. Just want to read a little bit of this here. Esteemed reviewers Jack Murray and Connor Joyce have both stated they believe that Tomb of the Mutilated is a high-concept album concerned with extreme not just necrophilia, Jesse Starcher, but extreme necrophilia, you know what I'm talking about, and sadism. Yeah. Murray said it's a very clever idea concerning the rape and murder of a young girl with a large knife and continuing to rape the corpse until orgasm. How has Marvel not turned this into a movie?
Wow.
Can we please get a Tomb of the Mutilated Marvel movie?
Jeez.
Jesse's uncomfortable.
I don't understand how you could buy this and like have it in your car and then your mom accidentally find it and you not be completely embarrassed. You know, your mom, hey mom, get the Kenny Rogers CD out of there. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry, that's my Tomb of the Mutilated. Sorry about that. Jeez. It's just, yeah. Coop?
Wow. Present.
Well, now, let me know, and I'll give you my best description of this album cover whenever you guys are ready. We've already kind of touched on it, so just because, yeah.
Robert Cooper, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to let Jesse have at this Tomb of the Mutilated album cover, the high watermark in Cannibal Corpse art.
I mean, with a song title like Necropedophile, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, each and every single one of these songs almost pay tribute to the album cover in some way. I mean, come on. Come on. You sit there and you're like, okay, are these guys dead? Did they die like this? We have a lady who is clearly, she's laying down. No, excuse me. She's got her back to the wall, sitting down, legs spread. And we have, I'm going to assume, a gentleman here who...
Gentleman. That's
so polite.
He eats it pinky up, damn it.
He's got his face buried between her legs, and I mean buried. The woman, okay, we're not just talking about a nice formal setting here. We do have some candlelight on the right-hand side, you know, surrounding the... of course, the skull with the eye still in it. And on the left-hand side, we have a heart with a knife through it. Okay. But, you know, so we've set the tone a little bit. We've set it a little bit. Well, maybe there's some, you know, Barry White playing in the background, and they're kind of enjoying this. But are they alive? That's the big question because, you know, the dude is missing, I don't know, at least 75% of his body. We've got... At least I assume he's got all of the working parts in his head, because obviously this would be a moot point if you lost all your tongue, or you know what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not going to get too dirty here, but and our poor unfortunate lady here, yeah, she looks good up top, then as you slowly go down the rest of her body, things get a little out of control when, half of her chest is tore apart. Her intestines are hanging over, which, that's going to get in the way. I'm just saying, you need to. You're already working with a lot down there, So then you got intestines coming out on top of your face. It's just not conducive to the atmosphere. But hey, so are they? The question still remains: are they still alive? Is she able to enjoy this, or was this a result of somebody who had killed both of these people? Who knows? But my goodness,
I don't think
how
anyone has spent this much time analyzing this album cover as you just have, Jesse Starcher. I salute you.
Well,
Jesse Starcher is wondering why he comes on this podcast right now, I feel.
why? There's nothing else to say. I mean, Coop, is there anything you could add? I mean, have you ever run into problems like this when you're with your lady friend, accidentally disemboweling and getting a little
died right in the middle of.
I mean, my jokes are pretty side splitting, so I wouldn't be surprised.
No. All right.
Coop's got them skills.
The fate of Bill.
I mean, otherwise it's it's like you eat you. I'll be in the corner. Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Terrific. All right, folks. This is track 10 as we start to wind this podcast down. This classy podcast. This is In the Midst of Ruin. Just give me a couple of words, Albert, on In the Midst of Ruin. What do you think about that one?
Choose carefully.
Oh, I see you. In the Midst of Ruin, I like it. It's a pretty solid song. I admit, though, towards the end of the album, I start losing track of what songs what. I think it's just because, in terms of repeat listens, I don't have a ton of them.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was a song that I liked, and it was good.
Okay. This is clearly a sign of how far they've come from I Come Blood, where they're discussing lyrically, they're discussing the downfall of the human race compared to ejaculating some blood. So I think we're making progress at least 24 years out here. What was that, 1992, 93? So kind of tells you how far they've come.
You just snap and yell, "What are we doing? What have we come to?"
That was like at 8:50. I was like, "What am I doing here? Why am I here again? Who are these people? Cannibal Corpse? Why am I involved with this?" I could be watching
Ronnie
The
Adams.
Flash or something. I don't know. This is very
Crisis on Earth
disconcerting.
X was Crisis on Earth X was excellent, by the way.
I'm all for it, dude. We use the CW app. I don't know. Is that what you use to watch, or do you try and catch it live?
Yeah, I'm podcasting every night. I can't watch shit live.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, yeah, I was at my mother-in-law's today waiting on my doctor's appointment, and I just fucking binge-watched the entire 4 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say CW has all four of them right there on the app, so it's pretty nice.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have to like switch the shows or anything. It was like put up like its own show,
Nice.
Its own 4-episode show. But Scott Mendelson of Forbes.com referred to Crisis on Earth X as the best Justice League movie this year.
Oh, woo! Shots fired.
Indeed. All right. Speaking of shots fired, this is track 11. Destroyed Without a Trace. All right, just to wrap this up here, we're going to go ahead and play the last track, and then we'll close out here with final thoughts and Jesse's last reaction to the Cannibal Corpse album. This is Hideous Ichor, track 12, our final track of the night. Enough of that. Overall, I'm going to give this album a B+. You know, it's fine. It's if you kind of like what I say about Slayer. If you like Cannibal Corpse, you'll like this album just fine. For what it is really not a bad track. I think the only reason why it's not an A for me and it's a B is it falls into that kind of samey. You know, like if you played 3 tracks in a row and didn't tell me what their names were, I'm not sure I could pick them out. You know, so I got to lower the points for that. But overall, you know, as far as just kind of background noise or a one straight through listen, it's fine. It was upbeat. It kept my interest for the most part. I thought it was pretty good stuff here. Robert Cooper, your thoughts here on our last 2 tracks and the album overall?
Yeah, I'd like the final track, Hideous Ichor. What's Ichor? Draw some blood? Anaconia. Yeah, really dug the last 2 tracks. If I were to give this album a rating, 7.5 out of 10. Or 10 out of 5. About a 7. 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not a perfect album by any means. There's some repetition, and in terms of diversity in the music, it may vary, but I'm really fond of Cannibal Corpse, so they can get a pass.
Indeed.
Okay.
Jesse Starcher, why don't you give us your final thoughts here, and then I'd like you to react to the album cover art of Eaten Back to Life, the debut album from Ye Olde Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, we are skipping Butchered at Birth because
Oh, shit.
my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You have the floor. I just want you to react and
Okay.
just talk about a skull full of maggots. Sorry, I'm just reading more song titles.
That's messed up because a lady that I know just shared a story about some lady a homeless woman whose head was full of maggots, right? And they saved her life. And they cleaned her up, and they showed her afterwards, and she legitimately had holes in her head where the maggots were. I don't know. That shit right there should have been a Cannibal Corpse album cover, because that was some fucking nasty shit.
That sounds pretty gross.
That's real life, IRL, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Yeah. I'll just give you my thoughts on this as a whole, because it does get a little bit samey towards the end. I know you guys covered Cannibal Corpse, their last album that they did back in 2014. I don't think I was a part of that show, so I didn't have much, other than hearing you guys review it. I don't think I had much interaction with the album after that. It wasn't like it hooked me. There are maybe 2 or 3 songs on here I will gladly listen to again, but as to whether I'm going to be revisiting Cannibal Corpse many times in the future, that is probably a negative on that. But that's not to say that these guys have some great musicianship. The vocals can get wearing, which amazes me that this guy's been going at it for 20 years sounding like this. But, again, every song that we've listened to here, I was able to understand the lyrics, and also he didn't overblow it when it comes to the growl, in my opinion. So there you go. I give it a shot. You can find it on YouTube real easy and listen to the whole album. It's right there. Give it a shot. See if you like it. If so, have at her, folks. But okay. Now let's get to these album covers here. All right, because Butchered at Birth is I'm going to have like either some kind of traumatic episode or something as soon as we turn this podcast off. I will go to bed and I will have nightmares at some of the shit that's going on here in front of me. We have, again, I assume we're either in a doctor's office or we're in a butchery. Because I'm going to say these are 2 butchers, these skeletal looking like butcher guys with their butcher aprons on. And they are cutting into a woman. Again, we are shown a body who has somewhat of a, they're kind of intact up top, but then as you slowly go down, they have been stripped of like skin and just down to the bone. It's nasty. All right, now that sounds gross in itself. However, there's a history here that you can see. These guys have been doing this for quite a while, as they are apparently, and I'm just putting a little backstory / headcanon into it, but they are finding these pregnant ladies, proceeding to kill them, and we are watching this happen right now with this one where they've just killed this girl, ripped the baby from her womb, and then they proceed to string the babies up on the ceiling, and there's like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Who thinks of shit like this? 1, 2, 3. There has to be over 10 to 15 babies hanging from, I want to say their intestines, or at least a string of intestines. I mean, there's one little, right here in the center, we see this one little baby in the background. This is horrible. The intestines are going through the eyes of the skull and then just going right back up to the ceiling. It's like this, okay. There you go. I can't look at this any longer. I'm moving on. And I want to go to this last tame one. The first one that started it all, Mark Radulich You said it was called Eaten. Was it Eaten Alive? What was it called? Oh, never mind. Coop, do you remember the name of the first album? I'm gonna have to go back to Find Time to Leave Me, Lucille. Eaten Back to Life. There we go. Okay, quick synopsis on the cover of this one. I feel this one's pretty tame, unless there's something I'm missing here. I don't know. This is almost. Well, I wouldn't say it's not photography, but it is pretty realistic looking cadavers in the back. The guy on the front proceeding to eat his own flesh, and his stomach and intestines are falling out. He's kept his jeans on though, Coop. That's important, okay? His jeans are on. He's got a couple of his own ribs in his hand. I want my baby back. Coop, save me here, buddy. What do you, as a whole, what do you think of these Cannibal Corpse album covers?
I fucking love Cannibal Corpse's album covers. I mean, they're creative, they're brutal, they're memorable. They definitely help you remember the band and the songs and everything. So really, I feel like it's worth it.
Agreed. I'm trying to pick out anything else. There's like a necklace with a small shrunken head. Looks like an intestine necklace hanging off of a tombstone in the background there. And it's painted different. If this is the same artist, if the same artist did all these album covers, this one looks a lot different compared to the rest of them. Of course, this is a very early Cannibal Corpse. We said it was 89, 88, no 90, 1990. So, and is this censored? Was this censored? No, it was not. I didn't think there was anything too offensive on there, but. Has Mark Radulich made it back yet? That's a negative. Coop, what else
No,
you got to
he's
say
still
about?
pooping.
What else you got to say about Cannibal Corpse? Just throw anything out there, I guess.
I personally prefer Corpse Grinder to Chris Barnes. I didn't like Chris Barnes' vocals as much because they're just way too over the top in terms of the. Like, it just sounds like brie, 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 brie. That's pretty much all I hear. Like, I found Corpse Grinder a lot more intelligible. I'm not that big a 6 Feet Under fan either. 6 Feet Under is just kind of okay. That's Chris Barnes' other band.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the band history here. Barnes was out in 95, and George Fisher took over vocals since then. So that's 22 years that he's been going at it. And Chris Barnes went off to do what again? You said he went to do
6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under.
Lamb,
Okay.
That's a TV show.
Starring. Oh goodness. Well, I guess hey, if he's off the bathroom, let's do plugs. I don't see any reason to go ahead and belabor the point. We've got our final thoughts in. Coop, you go ahead and do your plugs there, sir.
Cool, because I'm wiped. This podcast exists. Mark will plug it. W2Mnet.com, my buddy Sean Garmer's site. I write for a lot of the New Japan Wrestling articles. I kind of do a lot of the preview shows. Those are pretty all right. I enjoy that. Then there's the Centaur Rider Podcast. That is Facebook.com/Centaur Rider Podcast. It's SENTAIRIDER Podcast. Nobody's liked it recently just because South America must be on vacation. I'm kidding. It's probably just really, it's overly warm there right now, so that's why. Then you have scrapingthebarrel.com, my buddy Kevin Merrill's website. I was on their podcast called Scraping the Bottom. It was dumpster fire. I loved it. He brought cake. And finally, Cannibal Corpse. They're on tour right now. And they're going to be in Greensboro on December 3rd, so go see them with me at the Blind Tiger. There you go. No, Arizona Pete. Sorry, the Blind Tiger was the other concert. All right. Go, Jesse.
All right. Hey, I just want to tell you, Coop, somebody tagged you in a photo over the weekend. I don't know if it's a Thanksgiving photo or whatever, but you were wearing your Throssenblatt shirt. It looked good, man. It looked good. So Wanted to give you props.
Thank you.
Yeah, as for myself, ladies and gentlemen, go give the Rattlich in Broadcasting Network's Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. I already mentioned source material at the top of this show. It's pretty much like a book club for comics where me, Ronnie Adams, Mark Rattlich usually get together, discuss some stuff. Want to have some additional guests on here later this year. We got our schedule's made out, ladies and gentlemen. There is a good bit of shows already planned for 2018 because we synergize.
And there'll be more.
Mark Rattlich don't stop scheduling.
When we figure out when Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage are all coming back, when we figure out when Cloak and Dagger's dropping, there'll be more shows.
Will happen.
You just wait.
We synergize with movies and TV, talk about maybe where the genesis of those ideas for shows came from. And upcoming is going to be our Welcome Back, Frank discussion. Came out in 2000, the Marvel Knights Punisher series, 12-issue series. Oh, my gosh.
Shit. Ma Nucci got the ill communication. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just telling guys it's probably one of my favorite podcasts that we've done this year because I laughed a lot. It was a lot of fun. But, hey, that's this coming Monday. How about this past Monday? Have you heard of the show Runaways? That's right. Brian K. Vaughan's creation, The Runaways, have come to Hulu. So we did a discussion on the 2003 series, first volume, all 18 issues of The Runaways. We certainly, it's a lot. It sounds like a lot, but the good thing is that I think we cut that down to like an hour and a half, if I remember correctly. We got a pretty good. Yeah, we did decent. And you can go check that out. Beware though, because it is. If it's anything like the series and the series it's based on, granted the series is a little bit different, but there's definite spoilers and there is some big twists and turns. So be prepared if you're wanting to watch the TV series. That coverage of the comic book is probably going to be kind of faithful to that. So check that out. Other than that, you can follow me at Stiznarkey on Twitter. Check out all the great podcasts that we have on there. You know, wrestling. We had a huge content drop from Screaming Boy here. It's going to be showing up these next 3 days. Watch for that. Some shows that were kind of lost in the shuffle there a while back, but they will be reappearing on the Rattlich and Broadcasting Network. That's it, Mark Rattlich. Let's go, buddy. What do you got?
All right. So this week on the Rattlich and Broadcasting Network, we had a review of Coco. Didn't quite go the way that I thought it was going to go because I got a work phone call right as it was starting, and I was gone for the first 20 to 25 minutes, so oops. Next week, as Jesse said, we've got Welcome Home Frank on Monday, source material. We got a TV party tonight. That's going to be a hail, the gang's all here. We got many people wanting to jump in and talk about the Punisher. He's the cat's pajamas. So we'll have an all-star cast, or we won't, or it'll be me and Robert. I don't know how it's going to go. But a lot of people in the Rattlich and Broadcasting family have wanted to come on and talk about Punisher, so we'll do that. Season 1, Netflix, TV party tonight for the Punisher on December 5th. Right here on the Metal Hammer of Doom, we got the Cavalera Conspiracy, the Psychosis. That'll be next week. The week after, we got a TV party tonight for The Crown with Andrew Graham, friend of the show, friend of the network. And then on the 13th of December, I will not be a part of it, but it's another one where Robert Cooper takes over the show. It's his show, his rules. They're going to do Ne Obelisk of Metaconia, Obelisk Fiscaris, an album called Earn. So it'll just be him and Jesse burning the midnight oil. And then after that, oh boy, strap in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's Star Wars week, ladies and gentlemen. We got Princess Leia on the source material. We got The Last Jedi on Damn You Hollywood. Right here on the Metal Hammer of Doom, we're going to go in the Wayback Machine, a little album that came out in February, I believe, of this year called Galactic Empire, self-titled Galactic Empire. It'll be an interesting show because it's all instrumentals, but it's metal instrumentals and it's Star Wars because it's Star Wars week, ladies and gentlemen. And then we end Star Wars week, of course, with an on trial. We're going to take the hardest one to pick apart, the hardest one to prosecute. it's the universally loved Empire Strikes Back right here on the Rattle Legend Broadcasting Network. I'm going to prosecute this motherfucker because I'm going to find something wrong with this movie. I will. I've already had some ideas. So that'll be fun. Our Metal Hammer
Luke kisses his own sister in that, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go. That's enough evidence.
Terrible movie. Incest. Yuck.
Good old inbred Jedi, right?
Yeah. Metal Hammer of Doom's year-end special will be December 27th. We're going to look back at some of the stuff that we did not get to this year. We went almost every single week, even weeks when I was in the hospital. Fuck, we figured it out and we did it anyway. But a lot of stuff dropped that we did not get to. So we're going to talk about it. Jesse's going to bring up some stuff that we did get to and some stuff that we didn't. Robert and I are going to bring up some stuff that we did not get to. We're going to play some songs, have some fun, and talk about how the year in metal went. So that all happens on December 27th. But until then, I'm your mandated reporter, Mr. Mark Rattledge. For the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper. For the Disapproving Dad and the host of Source Material in his own right, Mr. Jesse Starcher. This has been the Metal Hammer of Doom's review of Cannibal Corpse Red Before Black. Be well, be safe, and behave.
Knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
What if a nursing college cared for its students the same way nurses cared for their patients? What if the focus was on keeping students in, not weeding them out? What would happen? Something extraordinary. Join us, and together we can make a difference. Chamberlain University College of Nursing. Extraordinary care, extraordinary nurses.
Attend an open house at the Miramar campus December 6th, anytime between 4 and 6 p.m. Register now at chamberlain.edu.